What is definitely true is that we've seen an uptake, right? Last year, they had a very strong momentum of testing ballistic missiles. There were about 24 last year. This year, we're only, into a couple months in 2017, and already they've sent up 7. Now, are all of these successful? No. Well, because it does seem like they are on a consistent trajectory to building more and more advanced missiles that can go farther and farther and get closer and closer to the United States. Absolutely not. So that's another kind of misconception that's out there. It's not like they just suddenly started making missiles to attack us. That's completely incorrect. And there's lots of evidence to suggest they're working on more advanced systems which we'd be moving into intercontinental, and that's when people start getting uncomfortable and concerned, because that's something that could be launched from North Korea and actually make it over to the mainland of the United States, like think Kansas type area. We believe is that there's about 1,000 missiles in the North Korean sort of arsenal, right? But these are not all missiles that can reach the United States. We need to be very, very clear about this. There's a range, there's about 4 different types, and we can break those down for you. Not all of them, like I said, can reach the United States, so let me explain why. So the first one is a short-range missile, and that can go about 1,000 kilometers or less. Now, what can these missiles do? They can deliver conventional warheads, but they could be armed with things like biological, chemical, and nuclear capabilities. The missile doesn't have to get all the way across the globe to the United States to cause harm to American citizens. Keep in mind that we have a lot of military stationed out there. We have military in South Korea, we have military in Japan, and that's over 50,000 people. I mean, sometimes we have as many as 80,000 Americans stationed out there. The second type is a medium range, and that can go between, there's varying estimates, right? But people place them at about 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers. With this sort of range, it would be able to target U.S. military bases in Guam. This intermediate range missile has been fired, it's been test fired for a submarine. Now, why do we care about that? Because of course you don't have to fire it from North Korea to hit a target on the U.S. mainland, right? You could take your submarine out to the Atlantic, out to the Pacific, and you'd have that much farther range that could get that medium range, a shorter range than an intercontinental. It could actually target and hit the United States. So that is something to bear in mind and be concerned about. The intermediate range, that's the third kind, can go between 3,000 to 5,500 kilometers. It was used successfully in February 2016 to launch a satellite, so we know that it can and has worked. What could this target? What could a multi-stage missile target? Well, at its maximum estimated range, with its increased power, it could put Australia and parts of the U.S. within its range. I'm basing these numbers on the Federation of American Scientists because that's an independent third party. There's been lots of discussion, there's been lots of talk about the possibility of weaponizing these interballistic missiles, so having that reach to reach the United States, combining that with a miniaturized nuclear warhead. Now here's the thing, I think at this point, in my opinion, it's a lot more about messaging and a lot less about actual capability, because technically it's very difficult to miniaturize a warhead and get it onto an intercontinental ballistic missile. Does that mean it's impossible, that they won't be able to do it? Absolutely not. Do we know that they have the intention? Yes, they've made that clear publicly, and we know that they're working on that program. Is it there yet? No. So I don't think that's an immediate concern, but it's certainly something to watch. The thing to really note here is that it's messaging, right? North Korea has sent a very clear message that they are determined to create a weapon that would be able to deliver a nuclear weapon on U.S. soil. So it's a very clear message that they're sending the United States right now.